in a pizza eating competition between Magdi and Karim. Karim's pizza was in the shape of a rectangle ومجد's pizza was in the shape of a circle. In the end كل واحد فيهم أكل half of his pizza. Who do you think won the competition? تفتكروا مين اللي كسب المسابقة دي؟ Hello my dear students of 4th primary. We learned together اتعلمنا مع بعض in the previous lessons about fractions و how to compare them if they have equal denominator أو equal numerator. Today in lesson 9 titled glass half full or 2/4 empty. We will learn هنتعلم النهارده the meaning معنى ال equivalent fractions يعني ايه using the visual models. We will do that through the activity Who ate more in access part on your school book page 28. تعالوا كده نشوفها مع بعض. Okay. And here in access part as you see. طيب هنا مطلوب مننا ايه؟ مطلوب مننا ان احنا نحدد who ate more of the sandwich. مين اكل اكتر من الساندوتش بتاعه؟ ضحى ولا her brother أمير؟ We know from the problem إن أمير قسم الساندوتش بتاعه ل 2 pieces. Okay. طيب here أمير cut his sandwich into 2 pieces وضحى cut her sandwich into 4 pieces and ate 2 of them. طيب ضحى thinks that the part she ate ضحى كانت بتقول إن هي أكلت البارت الأكبر عن أمير. What do you think about that؟ طب إيه رأيكم في الكلام ده؟ موافقين ضحى ولا مش موافقينها؟ I will give you time to think but first I want you to read this lesson. عايزاكم تقروا كويس قوي ال lesson learning targets عشان ده هيساعدكم ان انتوا تفهموا how you can use ال visual models. هيساعدكم ان انتوا تفهموا ايه ال visual models دي وازاي بنستخدمها. And these models represent the way ضحى وأمير استخدموه to cut their sandwiches. Now I'm sure متأكدة كويس قوي إن كل واحد فيكم بص على أمير ساندويتش موديل اللي هو مقسمه into 2 pieces وضحى ساندويتش موديل اللي هي مقسماها into 4 pieces عشان نقدر نعمل comparing between the 2 sandwiches ونحسب ال quantity اللي هم أكلوه. Like we did in the last lessons we could shade. هنعمل shading للبارت بتاع أمير and the 2 parts بتاع ضحى. طيب يبقى أمير ate 1/2 of the sandwich وضحى ate 2/4 of the sandwich. طيب as you can see in the models the part that أمير ate was the same as ضحى ate. طيب تعالوا نشوف كده مش أمير أكل 1 part only وضحى أكلت 2 parts out of 4. طيب زي ما احنا شايفين إن البارت اللي أمير أكله هو نفس البارت اللي ضحى أكلته right؟ So what ضحى thinks اللي ضحى كانت بتقوله إن هي أكلت أكتر من her brother ده ما كانش صح. Why? Because she ate the same amount as أمير. الاتنين أكلوا قد بعض بالظبط. طيب الفرق الوحيد ما بينهم إيه؟ ال number of parts right؟ أمير أكل 1 out of 2 ضحى أكلت 2 out of 4. ده معناه إن half equivalent to 2/4. To check your thoughts we could divide the empty model we have into any number of equal parts. ممكن نقسمه لأي number of equal parts وبعدين نعمل shading لhalf of it. هنعمل shading لنص الشيب. It will be equivalent هتبقى equal بالظبط للبارت بتاع ضحى and her brother أمير ate. طيب أنا سألت السؤال ده للستودنتس بتوعي. لما سألتهم السؤال ده to do this activity في students منهم they divided the model into 6 parts وعملوا shading ل 3 parts. وكمان في students تانيين divide the same shape into 8 parts. تعالوا كده نقسمه ل 8 parts. They divided the shape into 8 parts زي ما احنا شايفين كده. قسموه كده بالظبط ل 8 parts. وبعدين عملوا shading to 4 parts يعني عملوا shading كده لهاف الشيب ل 4 parts. طيب what if you wanted to write a definition for the form equivalent or equivalence and add this definition؟ عايزين بقى نزود الديفينيشن ده للفراكشن answer chart. What would it say؟ هيقول لنا ايه الديفينيشن ده؟ So we know ان 2/4 و 3/6 and 4/8 كل دول represent 1/2. كل الفراكشنز اللي انا قلتهم دول equal to 1/2. Alright, so the definition of equivalent fractions are what? Like you see here, the definition بتاع equivalent fraction are equivalent fractions. They have the same, they have different numerator and denominator, but are equal to the same value. Okay? طيب for example زي half و 2/4 both are equal. لو كتبنا كده half و 2/4 هنلاقيهم they are both equal. الاتنين equal half and represent the same quantity of an equal whole. Okay? I would like to عايزة بقى ألخص الكلام ده أو أأكد على حاجة مهمة قوي. إن two fractions to be equivalent لازم يبقى فيه شرط مهم جدا عشان يبقوا equivalent. هو إيه؟ لازم الهول value بتاعهم يبقى the same. الهول one يبقى في الآخر the same. طيب تعالوا كده نفهم أكتر about the equivalent fraction in build part on page 29. Here's build part as you see here. Let's learn how to represent and write the equivalent fractions. تعالوا بقى نعرف ازاي هنكتب ال equivalent fraction. عايزاكم تركزوا معايا كويس قوي وجهزوا معايا البوك بتاعكم والبن. We can solve the problems together step by step. تعالوا نشوف كده in the first problem like you see here. We have a visual model. الموديل ده representing a rectangle divided into 3 parts. اهو الريكتانجل بتاعي متقسم ل 3 parts. One part only shaded. Like you see here عندي one part بس shaded. تعالوا بقى let's record the fraction that represent this model. طيب زي ما اتفقنا قبل كده وعرفنا إن I will write in the denominator a total number of parts. So how many parts do I have? 3. يبقى I will write 3 in the denominator. And what about the numerator? Numerator اللي هو number of the shaded parts which is only 1. يبقى هكتب كده 1 في النوميريتور. يبقى الفراكشن بتاعي 1 over 3 أو 1/3. We will write together in our books 1 over 3 or 1/3 like you see. Let's solve problem number 2. Here's problem number 2 as you see here. السكند موديل بقى نفس الموديل بالظبط as in the first model. محتاجة هنا إن أنا أعمل divide it into 2 equal parts. يبقى I will draw line here in the middle of the shape زي ما احنا شايفين كده. Okay, the last step is writing the fraction after we divide the rectangle. طيب زي بالظبط ما كان مطلوب مننا in problem number 3. Now let's count the total parts after division with number of the shaded parts. كل البارتس اللي عندي how many parts? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Here is the middle. يبقى الدينومينيتور بتاعي 6. What about the shaded parts? Look, I have only 2 parts. يبقى النومينيتور بتاعي 2. So my fraction is 2 over 6. And now the question after writing the fraction is there a difference? هو في أي اختلاف ما بين shaded part في problem number 1 و problem number 2؟ طيب زي ما قلنا قبل كده إن both models الاتنين زي بعض بالظبط. بس التاني موديل أنا عملت divide the model into smaller parts. كل اللي أنا عملته إن أنا قسمت الموديل ل smaller parts. بدل 3 parts خليته يبقى 6 parts. So both models, two models represent the same amount. في الآخر هم عندهم نفس الامount. And there is no difference at all. مفيش أي اختلاف ما بين first and second model. Despite that, we represented the two fractions. احنا كده عملنا الفراكشنز in two different ways. مرة 1 over 3 ومرة تانية 2 over 6. طيب now what do we notice about the numbers in the two fractions؟ اللي احنا ملاحظينه في النمبرز في التو fractions دول تقدروا تقولوا لي؟ Yes, كلنا ملاحظين ان النومينيتور is doubled from 1 ل 2. النومينيتور كان 1 والدبلد بقى 2. طيب what about the denominator؟ The same also. الدينومينيتور برضو doubled from 3 to 6. طيب ده معناه ايه؟ Does that mean ان الفراكشن are equal ولا different؟ Of course, the fractions are equal, but the way we represent it is different. أنا represented two fractions in two different ways. Now, what happened if we divided the whole into smaller parts as we saw? I will change the size of the piece. كل اللي هيحصل إن السايز بتاع البيسز بس هيصغر. That's why the numbers doubled. And now let's solve problem number 4 to 6 on page 29 on your school book. أنا متأكدة كويس قوي إن lot of you will be able to answer them at once. Let's see problem number 4. Problem number 4 we want to record. عايزين نكتب بقى الفراكشن of the model drawn in front of us. طيب الفراكشن بتاعتي هتبقى ايه؟ Look 1 2 3 4 5 يبقى الدينومينيتور بتاعي 5 and I have 4 shaded parts يبقى النومينيتور بتاعي 4. يبقى my fraction is 4 over 5. طيب that's because 4 are the shaded parts and 5 are all the parts. And now let's move to problem number 5. Here problem number 5 we want to draw line to divide the model into two equal parts. طيب تعالوا كده نرسم line to divide this model into two equal parts as you see here. So every part of the model is divided into two equal parts. تعالوا نشوف بقى problem number 6 طالب مني ايه. Here he want me to write new fraction. عايزني اكتب بقى fraction جديدة بعد ما رسمت اللاين divide the model. The answer will be what؟ تعالوا كده نعد كل البارتس اللي عندي 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10 يبقى الدينومينيتور بتاعي 10. And what about the numerator? How many shaded parts? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 8 يبقى النومينيتور بتاعي 8. My fraction is 8 over 10. طيب اللي أنا كتبته ده أو الفراكشن 8 over 10 is an equivalent fraction to the same one in problem 4. يعني 8 over 10 هي نفسها 4 over 5. Why? Because nothing changed. ما فيش حاجة اتغيرت خالص غير إن أنا divide the shape into smaller parts. قسمت بس نفس الشيب لsmaller parts. بدل ما كانوا 5 parts بقوا 10 parts. Just like that we have understood. خلاص احنا دلوقتي فهمنا كويس قوي يعني ايه proper equivalent fractions. That makes us ask yourself. تعالوا بقى نسأل نفسنا في question عايزين نسأله لنفسنا. هو ينفع ال improper or mixed fraction يبقى عندهم equivalent fractions? I will give you now some time to answer this question by yourselves and think of answers to problem number 7 and to 9. Then we will discuss it all together when we are back. And now in problem number 7, let's go to see problem number 7. Here we have two circles and we want to record. عايزين نكتب الفراكشن بتاعهم. Each circle of the two divided into two parts. شايفين؟ Here are the two circles. كل circle فيهم متقسمة ل two parts. أنا متأكدة دلوقتي إن أنتوا كلكم فاهمين إن ال denominator will be what? Of course, ال denominator هيبقى 2, right? طيب وعندي how many shaded parts؟ عندي 3 shaded parts. ده معناه إن ال improper fraction 3 shaded parts out of 2 أو 3 shaded parts over 2. طيب now we could also write. تعالوا نكتب برضو الفراكشن بس المرة دي هكتبها as a mixed number. طيب الميكس نمبر عايزة أفكركم بيه إن هو كان whole number وكمان fraction. طيب إيه الهول نمبر اللي عندي؟ أنا عندي one whole circle يبقى الميكس نمبر عبارة عن one whole. طيب إيه الفراكشن اللي عندي؟ أنا عندي one shaded part out of 2 يبقى عندي half. يبقى الميكس نمبر بتاعي 1 and half. ال1 دي الهول نمبر والhalf دي الفراكشن بتاعتي. And now let's move to problem number 8. Here in problem number 8 as you see we are مطلوب مننا to divide the models into 2 equal parts. So I will draw line like this to divide each model into 2 equal parts. تعالوا نشوف problem number 9. Problem number 9 عايزني أكتب الفراكشن equivalent to the models after division. يعني بعد ما عملت division عايزة أكتب بقى الفراكشن equivalent to this one. طيب تعالوا كده count how many fourths do I have. I will find that the whole model عنده كام fourth؟ عنده 4 fourths, right? طيب 4 fourths shaded والsecond model عنده how many shaded parts؟ عنده 2 shaded parts. يبقى كل shaded parts كام؟ Yes, of course 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So the numerator is 6, right? Out of what? The circle has 4, يبقى 6 out of 4 parts, 6 over 4. The answer will be 1 model and 2 fourths. طيب دلوقتي لو عايزة أكتب this one as a mixed number يبقى أنا عندي 1 whole model and 2 over 4, right? 2 parts out of 4. Now we have learned تعلمنا خلاص إن ال improper fraction are similar to the proper one. And we can represent both using the equivalent fractions. And this is the answer. هو ده الإجابة الكويستشن اللي أنا كنت بسألكوا عليه. And now I'll give you problem 10 to 13. You can answer them on your own way. And you can use models and solve it by your own way. Now let's solve all together problem number 14. Let's go to problem number 14. Here's problem number 14 as you see here. طيب دلوقتي مطلوب مننا ان احنا نكتب الايكويفالنت فراكشن فور ذا فيرست موديل. الفيرست موديل هو كان ايه؟ كان 3 over 4. عايزني اكتب equivalent fraction ل 3 over 4 using the second equivalent model. طيب احنا عندنا هنا 2 models هنستخدمهم عشان اعرف الايكويفالنت فراكشن بتاعتي. تعالوا كده لو عدينا كل البارتس اللي عندي هلاقيها كام؟ 8 parts. Let's count 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 وعشان كده هو كاتب 8 in the denominator. اوكي then تعالوا بقى let's count الشيدد parts عشان اعرف النومينيتور بتاعي قد ايه. Here I have 1 2 3 4 5 6 عندي 6 shaded parts. ده معناه ان النومينيتور بتاعي 6 and that's mean in 3 over 4 equivalent fraction to 6 over 8. Okay, now let's move to problem number 15. Problem number 15 we will count the shaded parts in the second model. هو بيسألني في problem number 15 هي 2 over 3 ايه equivalent fraction بتاعتها وقال لي ان كل ال parts in the second one 9. طب انا عايز اعرف ال shaded parts. Let's count 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. So the denominator is 6. ده معناه ايه؟ ده معناه ان 2 over 3 equivalent to 6 over 9. Here in problem number 16, let's move to problem number 16 now. Problem number 16 عايزني أكتب الفراكشن that the model represent as a mixed number وكمان as improper fraction. طيب أول حاجة we will find that the improper fraction is what? 7 over 4. طيب تعالوا كده نكتب الامبروبر فراكشن بتاعي 7 over 4. طب أنا ليه قلت 7 over 4؟ الفيرست موديل على فكرة هو مش متقسم خالص. He colored all or he shaded all the model. طيب which means what? It means that it represents one whole. It is equivalent to 4 fourths. مش احنا اتفقنا ان ال one whole الفراكشن بتاعه النوميريتور زي الدينومينيتور ونفس الدينومينيتور بتاعي اللي هو 4 over 4 because this part أو this model متقسم ل 4 parts so I can divide this one also into 4 parts, right? تعالوا نعد كل البارتس اللي عندي 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 all the shaded part 7. That's why I write 7 in the numerator and the whole parts are 4. So the answer is 7 fourths as you see here. طيب تعالوا بقى it will be very easy to say the mixed number. Why? Because it is made up of one whole model and how many shaded parts? 1 2 3 over 4. يبقى الميكس نمبر بتاعي 1 whole and 3 over 4. And now in problem 20 تعالوا بقى let's go to problem number 20. Here is problem number 20. Here we want to color in the model the part that represent what Mona and her brother Malik ate from the brownies. أكلوا قد إيه من البراونيز بتاعهم. طيب تعالوا نشوف كده Mona's model. We will color one model and half of the second one. هي مش منى أكلت one and half brownies، يبقى I will color one whole and half part. يبقى كده I represent one whole and half. While in Malik's model, I will also use one model which is 4/4. مش مالك أكل 6/4، يبقى I will color one whole model. بس كده؟ No. And 2/4 of the second. 2/4 of the second one. So the total is 6/4. Let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now, so the answer to this problem is what? تعالوا كده نشوف problem number 21. The answer of problem 21 is what? Is that he's asking me who ate more brownies. مين أكل براونيز أكتر؟ منى ولا مالك؟ The answer of course Mona and Malik ate the same amount. تعالوا نكتب كده they ate the same amount. Right? أكلوا قد بعض بالظبط 1 and half. Okay, now as we know from the visual models and that the mixed number 1 and half is the same as the improper fraction 6/4. أنا دلوقتي ممكن أكتب إن 1 and half اللي منى أكلتهم equals to 6/4 اللي مالك أكلهم. And now do you remember حد فاكر السؤال اللي أنا سألته لكم at the start of the lesson when we asked who ate more؟ مين أكل أكتر؟ مجدي or كريم. Even though كل واحد فيهم أكل half of their pizzas. This is the question of connect part on page 33 on your school book. تعالوا نشوفوا كده مع بعض. Here in connect part we already answered question. جاوبنا question زيه بالظبط أو have the same idea. طيب وتاني عايزة أكد كويس قوي إن الفراكشن is always equal to the equivalent fraction. لازم يكون في شرط مهم قوي إن الwhole of both fractions is equal. That means ده معناه إن same sandwich يبقى في نفس الساندويتش أو نفس الكاندي بار or same rectangle and so on. Now if we look at the pizza model كريم ate هنلاقي إن it is larger than the pizza model مجدي ate. Here's كريم's pizza وhere's مجدي pizza. هنلاقي إن كريم's pizza greater than the مجدي's pizza. ده معناه إن half the pizza كريم ate greater than half the pizza Magdi ate. And now we are ready to solve the problems in the practice part in the digital copy of your math textbook. We will find some problems هنلاقي problems very similar to the ones we have solved in build. Now I'll give you some time to answer problem number 5. Then we are back. We will discuss all your answers together. And now after you have finished, let's answer the problem all together. Here in the practice part, here we are asked to write the fractions for each model. Then draw a line عشان نعمل matching every fraction in the first column والequivalent fraction بتاعته in the second column. طيب the fractions in the yellow model تعالوا نكتبها كده مع بعض. The first one is one whole as you see. طيب the second one is one shaded part over 2 يعني 1 half. The third one shaded part over 3 parts يعني 1 over 3. The fourth one shaded part over 4 parts يعني 1 over 4. The last one here is 2 shaded parts over 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 يبقى 2 over 5. تعالوا نشوف بقى الفراكشنز بتاعت السكند كولمز أو the blue models. Okay, the first one 4 over 10 because here I have 4 colored parts over 10. كل البارتس اللي عندي 10 parts. The second one 2 shaded parts over 6 because all the parts are 6. The third part is 2 shaded parts over all the parts 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 8 يبقى 2 over 8. The next one 1 2 3 4 5 all of it shaded, so 5 over 5 which is the whole one. The last one 3 parts out of 6 and it is already written. تعالوا بقى نعمل matching each model in the yellow one بالايكويفالنت fraction بتاعته أو الايكويفالنت موديل بتاعه في البلو one. Let's start with the first one. طيب مين الايكويفالنت fraction للwhole one؟ تعالوا نشوف كده the equivalent fraction of the whole one. Write the equivalent fraction. طيب now this will make us to think whether الwhole one عنده أصلا equivalent fraction ولا مش عنده. Of course ال1 عنده equivalent fraction. طيب why؟ as you know إن الشرط الأساسي إن النومينيتور يبقى equal to the denominator. مش احنا اتفقنا إن ال1 الفراكشن بتاعه النومينيتور هو نفس الدينومينيتور، يبقى which one equivalent to the one؟ Of course 5 over 5 is equivalent to the whole one. طيب تعالوا نشوف the second one. The second yellow model اللي هو الهاف. مين equivalent للهاف؟ Yes 3 over 6. 3 over 6 is equivalent to the half, right? طيب why? Because 3 is half the 6. تعالوا نشوف ال third model which is 1 over 3. مين ال equivalent model لل 1 over 3؟ Yes of course 2 over 6. يبقى 1 over 3 equivalent ل 2 over 6. طيب ليه 1 over 3 equivalent ل 2 over 6? Why? Because if I multiply 1 over 3 up and down by 2, the answer will be 2 over 6. لو عملت 1 times 2 gives me 2 و 3 times 2 gives me 6. That's why 1 over 3 equivalent to 2 over 6. In the visual models, we will find that the fourth yellow model اللي هو 1 over 4, which equivalent fraction to this fraction? Yes, 1 over 4 is the same as 2 over 8. So I will match them. طيب ده معناه if you multiplied 1 over 4 by 2 up and down, it will give me 2 over 8. Now let's move to the last one, which is 2 over 5. مين الفراكشن equivalent to 2 over 5? Look, yes of course, 4 over 10 is equivalent to 2 over 5. Okay, and now at the end of our lesson today, تعلمنا النهاردة equivalent fractions and how to represent them with models. If you want to practice more and more, you can scan the code shown here on the screen, which will direct you to the digital copy of your math textbook on the Egyptian Knowledge Bank to check your understanding. And now, thank you so much for your watching. See you next lesson.